For a lot of people, trading card games and what they'll buy into from certain trading card games is decided by what characters and IP they bring to the game. The game about Marvel characters are obviously going to appeal to a lot of people in this day and age, and the fact that the card game is Marvel by itself could bring in a large group of players to the game. But obviously, for some games, that's just not an option. And those games are very good. Magic the Gathering had literally nothing to go off in terms of IP when it first started. And it still really doesn't have many lore in comic books and movies, if any. I don't know if there's any comic books. There's definitely no movies or TV shows about Magic the Gathering universe. And yeah, it's still the most popular trading card game out there. So IP isn't everything when designing a trading card game or making it grow, but it definitely helps. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all these things are beloved to a lot of people beyond their trading card game. So if a new person tries to come into Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon and they watched the shows when they were kids or read the mangas, then they'll definitely be more inclined to play Pokemon because they already fell in love with the franchise. And for the Digimon trading card game, it's the exact same deal. A lot of people coming into the game, including myself, was mostly drawn to it beyond knowing all the cool mechanics that it brings into the game. Before I knew about any of that stuff, any of the cool stuff, I clicked on a video telling me about the game because it said Digimon. Now, this video is if you know nothing about Digimon, or rather, you really don't care about the IP all too much. Obviously, maybe you've heard about it when you were a kid. Maybe your brother or your sister liked it. Maybe your friends were all into Digimon, but you never really got into the show, the comic books, or any of the past TCGs. You've never got into any of the video games. You've never gotten a Tamagotchi yourself. And honestly, you don't really care to. But you do want to check out this Digimon trading card game because a lot of people, a lot of people are saying it's a lot of fun. And it's been blowing up and it hasn't even come out in America yet. So what do? Well, this video is supposed to sort of be the answer to that. I'm going to run you guys down on all the things that the Digimon Trading Card Game, quite frankly, I think does well and what it has to offer to beyond what normal trading card games give to you. This is a reason to get into Digimon if you're not into Digimon. And let's just, crack right into it, shall we? Digimon Trading Card Game, you'll be playing down tamers, Digimon, evolving Digimon, and using options throughout the game to help allow you to win and defeat your opponent. Now, we're not going to be talking about all of that in particular because we've seen it all before. What we're talking about is the very new, interesting mechanics that is in this game. The first of which is the memory gauge, and the second is the evolution mechanic and everything that it involves. Now, let's start off with the memory mechanic, the memory gauge, the memory system. It works like this. There's 10 sides, there's 20 sides on the memory gauge, a 0 in the middle between the two 10s, 110 for you, 110 for your opponent. And at the start of the game, the memory gauge starts on the 0. When you play a card, you look at the cost on its top left corner, and that is the amount of spaces you have to move the memory gauge over to play the card. Now, if the memory gauge passes on to 1 or further on your opponent's side of the field, it becomes their turn immediately. And that means a lot of things. That means that on your first turn, you almost cannot do anything but hand the game over to your opponent. But even in that is not a hard and fast rule. It also means that if you want to play a really powerful card, you can play a really powerful card first turn. It is not even impossible, but it's just highly ill-advised. Because the memory gauge kind of works like this. If you play a strong card, your opponent then has a chance to play a strong card. And if then you play another strong card, your opponent has a chance to play another strong card. Except if you give your opponent 10 memory to use, all 10 of the memory that is possible for them to gain on their memory gauge, they don't have to play in 12 cost card. They could make you manage their memory wisely and get more out of the memory that you gave them than you got out of yours. So in the Digimon Trading Card Game, you're going to be wanting to manage your memory. And this is very important for the game. Learning how to manage memory throughout the entire game and throughout your entire time playing the game is very important. If you read about how to manage memory, which is something that's very important to the game, very imperative that you learn, you'll end up losing more often than not. You could have the best deck in the world. If you're not managing your memory properly, you're most likely going to lose. And that's why the Digimon Trading Card Game's memory mechanic is such a beautiful thing. It's actually something you need to learn how to use and how to work around, how to play cards. And when you open with a hand that only has expensive cards in it, you need to know what cards to play when, well, why. And that's just how the Digimon Trading Card Game actually is. And I love that about the game. The memory mechanic allows you to actually learn and get better at playing the game as you play, even if you have the best deck in the world. And it's just a breath of fresh air if you've been playing games like Magic the Gathering or Force of Will for your entire life, and or like Pokemon or like Yu-Gi-Oh, and you really just want to try something different. This game is incredibly different, and especially it's very different with its evolution mechanic, which is like this. Every card has two possible abilities it may contain. It's inheritable ability, which is the ability that you gain while using the card after you've evolved from that card, and its static ability, which is an ability that only that card can use. Now, when you evolve in the Digimon Trading Card Game, you look at the cost in the top left corner of the card you want to evolve into. That is the cost you want to pay to play it normally. But if you want to evolve, you have to look at the smaller bubble with the cost under it. That's the cost you have to pay to evolve into it. When you evolve, you draw a card. Now, when you evolve, you get all the inheritable abilities of the form before you, plus your own static abilities. So if you've evolved 4 times into your level 6, then you probably maybe have 4 inheritable abilities and maybe even most likely a static ability of your own, making you a very powerful Digimon. And that's really how you build up in this game. You evolve and you go on. You also play tamers, which is another way which in a way is building, but mostly the evolution mechanic is the semblance of you build up. The most beautiful thing about the evolution mechanic that I can think of is the fact that no matter what cards you choose to be your pre-evolution form in a lot of TCGs or in Pokemon in particular, that doesn't really have to matter. Usually people look for the best card with the best ability to attack and the best health. But in general, if you're using your pre-evolution form, if you're using your Sandygast, you're probably in a bad spot. You probably want to be evolving into Palossand to be doing any attacking. And once you evolve into Palossand, the Sandygast you once used is most likely useless and non-existent, not important to your gameplay. Don't forget they have cards that allow it. That's not the point. The point is that in the Digimon Trading Card Game, every card you choose, from Agumon to Greymon to Metal Greymon to War Greymon, every single card that you choose has an important role it can play in your deck. If you put an Agumon in your deck, then it probably means something. That's a level 3 Digimon. And level 3 Digimon is usually going to be the ones you want to have the inheritable skills, because you're probably going to be evolving from them extremely quickly. And some actually don't. It's a card game. We've seen it before. Cards that just don't have any skills whatsoever. And Digimon Trading Card Game is a game where you can either go the route where you don't really care too much about evolution, or you're trying to get to a certain point in your evolutionary stage to win the game. And that just makes the game beautiful. And you can choose this Agumon or choose a different Agumon, which have slightly different abilities, and it could completely change whether you win or lose the game. So that's why the Digimon Trading Card Game's evolution mechanic is just absolutely beautiful. Its memory gauge mechanic lets you think different and play the game in a way you probably never played a card game before. And the evolution mechanic allows you to make the choices of deck building, and a lot of the choices you make matter. The skill of deck building and playing cards during the game is something you must learn in the Digimon Trading Card Game, because it's not as simple as, well, this is an Agumon, it evolves from Greymon, technically. So it'll be perfect in my deck. That's not gonna cut it in the Digimon trading card game. So you have to really think about that. You have to really think about what pre-evolution you'll be putting in your deck and how often you can play what cards and when, being the fact that the memory gauge has certain constrictions and certain ways to play them on it. Now, I hope this video really explained to you what the Digimon Trading Card Game had to offer, whether it be from just Digimon. If you don't love Digimon, then maybe it's the amazing memory gauge mechanic or the amazing evolution mechanic that you just want to try out. The game is absolutely so much fun, and if you're not really that interested in it, even after this video, go play a game still. Just go play a game and ask someone to help you out through it, and I'll promise you it's gonna be a whole bunch of fun once you're done. Whether you decide to actually play the game or not, you're definitely gonna have some fun. Now that's gonna be it with the video. Tell me in the comment section if I completely missed the point of this video. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends if you think they want to watch this video to get themselves into the Digimon trading card game as well. And also, if you're looking for another Digimon video to watch, there's going to be one up on the screen right now. So check it out if you have the time, and I'll see you guys later.